Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Michigan here with another replay for you. And today, the main focus is going to be why you always need to have a fallback plan in case the enemy tries to cap you out. Now, we're here on Himmelsdorf, and we are running a fairly heavy lineup, but we're also running some fast tanks. We got a couple of chieftains, some IS-7s, about half of our team consists of fast heavies. We got 3 tanks that you could consider sort of in the middle there, and then we got a bunch of super heavies. So here's the initial call as I pause it, like I normally do. Is we're going to have 2 E3 sit in Alpha 4. Now, what is this position good for? It can't really do much. However, what it can do is suck a lot of the enemies into that little road here, this little offshoot. And it can also, if the enemies coming the other way, it can use these windows to fire into the cap circle. The E3s there will often not survive, but the whole goal is not for them to kill the whole enemy team, but to buy enough time, get enough resets for the rest of the team to come back and finish the job. So what do the enemy tanks have? Well, they're running 4 E3s, running 2 super heavies in those 2 E100s, though you could argue those fall into the same class as the 60 DP, where they're a little bit quicker, and then a lot of fast heavies. So my initial thought is they're going hill. So what am I doing? I am sending a lot of vehicles to the hill. I'm sending the AS7s, E100s, 60s, and the Chieftains, leaving a VKK right here on this corner, an E3 on that corner there, and then my 2 E3s in the window as I spoke about earlier. Now, it's a bit tricky when you're bringing this many tanks up there with 4 different speeds. The Chieftains are going to be the quickest, then the IS-7s, then the 60s, and the E100s, and what you need to avoid getting into a confrontation with an enemy team that's all the same speed piecemeal. Because what they'll do is they'll get aggressive, they'll kill the Chieftains, and the IS-7s will get up there, they'll kill the IS-7s, and the 60s, and so on and so forth. So the tanks that get up there, not that they should wait, but they need to play passively. The less tanks that are up there, the more passive they need to play. Once we all get up there, then you can start to play aggressive. But as you know from the title of this video, obviously, like most of these replays, it's not going to go as expected. Let's talk a little bit about my 2 vehicles down here, because these, while they may not look very important, it's quite crucial where both of them are. So the E3 is obviously covering that banana road, right down there below where my mouse is. That's going to give us an early warning. Remember, these 2 tanks here, this is coverage, not control. If you've seen that video. If you haven't, I would watch it because I'm going to mention that a lot in my future videos. The E3, he can see down there. What, is he going to stop it? No, he'll get a few shots off, so you could call it influential coverage. The VKK, on the other hand, gives an early warning to those E3s. You can't see through solid buildings, obviously, in this game, unless you are within 50 meters and you're using the proxy mechanic. So what that VKK does, side scraping off that corner, is he's going to alert those E3s, hey, the enemies are coming around that corner, get ready. And that'll hopefully get us an extra 1400 damage right off the bat. Alright, so our Chieftains are on the hill, IS-7s are arriving. Unfortunately, Malta than the IS-7, I don't think he has a turbo, unlike the 60s, so he's getting up there around the same time. No worries, Chieftains haven't even made contact. Unfortunately, you can see me there, actually blocking off Tank Killer. They're poor driving by me. That's what happens when I'm zoomed all the way out trying to analyze the battle. So I'm going to ask the Chieftains to progress. No, they're not on the hill. So this is where you have to be really, really careful, because we have 2 options. We have 3 options right now. We could go back to our base, we could stay on the hill, or we could push off the hill. Now, if the enemies are camping and we push off the hill, then maybe it works. You know, we get a good chance at it. However, I'm not convinced that they're camping. To me, this looks like what I call the breakout camp, where you leave a bunch of tanks back to defend, and everybody else pushes when they get close, trying to gain an advantage or take an overmatch, or potentially push to their cap. So we know they're not over here. So what I believe they're doing is they are waiting for us to commit on the 9-0, or wherever we decide to go, and then they're going to push out, leaving the E3s and possibly those E100s back to defend. So that's what I'm going off of right now. That's what I believe they're doing based off of their lineup and what I would do on this map. So what do we do off of that? Now, one is we can sit here. However, a lot of times on these breakout pushes, they're not going to push unless they're provoked. Remember, the clock is on their side. That clock hit 0, they win 10 out of 10 times. It doesn't matter. There is no draws. The battle may be a draw, but a draw is a win for the defending team. We could push and maybe try and cap race them. Or we can provoke the enemies, which is what we often do. We'll send a couple of different vehicles down one side, give the impression, and see if the enemies will take the bait, and then believing that's our whole team down there, push, or we can sit here and do nothing. But let's see what happens. Chieftains are getting lit. Now, that's actually quite crucial. So, that may not have been intentional. I don't think he was trying to get lit. However, he may have provoked the enemy unintentionally. You can see me there looking with the free camera. What I'm doing is I'm checking to see if they've broken anything. And now I don't see anything, so I'm going to move up. Let's kind of hang out here. Chieftains are starting to make their way down the hill. 60s are going to start to move up, so at this point I've decided, you know what, let's see if we can't take the fight to the enemy. It doesn't look like they're pushing. Don't really see anything. Maybe they're just defending with fast heavies, and that is now an issue. We are extremely, I would say, I'm extremely lucky here because I was sending chieftains down the other side. So what do we have to do now? That's one IS-7. Is there any more? Yep, IS-7. It's just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now we know that they're defending the whole thing. The E3s are on borrowed time. VK is on borrowed time. He cannot reset. So now we have to get everybody back as quickly as possible. So now I have to figure out what are we going to do here. We got the chieftains are all the way at the bottom of the hill. It's not worth it for them to come back up. By that time, we will have won or lost. So what we're going to do with those chieftains is they've already committed down there. So we're going to put some cap pressure on the enemy as well. It would be nice to have them to overmatch the cap, but they're too far gone. We could send them up the banana road, but they're already there. Everybody else, in the meantime, has to come back to cap. I'm going to highlight a great play from my 2 IS-7s there, Hughes and Malto, in a second. So you can see the E3s are starting to take hits. I'm going to get out of free camera mode, and I'm going to show you something very crucial with the Arty Strike on this map. Right about now. So look, let's go back. We're going to rewind because I just about missed that. I dropped that Arty super quick. Again, best tip is nothing in the video you saw. If you didn't, I am going to stop when I get over there and really slow the video down. Chieftains are coming in, and we should be dropping an Arty Strike about now. Let's slow the video down. There we go. We're going to slow it down even further. And pause. Oh, look where I'm dropping this Arty Strike. Let's actually go a little bit more. Perfect. Look where the enemies are sitting. Now, they sit here because in order for us to reset, we have to drive all the way around that corner. Now, they dropped Arty. I don't know why they dropped it there. It may have been a misclick. I'm not entirely sure. And note that I am not dropping the center of the Arty on those vehicles. It doesn't matter. It does the same amount of damage. We just need to get one hit off on those tanks to reset them. Now, you have to also take into account this Arty takes 6 seconds to drop. So by the time this Arty hits, it's going to be about 12 seconds. I don't really want to cut it any more close. What this Arty is going to force them to do is if they want to back directly up, they're going to get reset. If they want to drive out to the left or right, they're going to run the risk of getting shot or driving out of the cap circle. If you look on the south side, to really get out of that strike, they're going to have to expose themselves to that E100. If they drive out to the high side, they're going to expose themselves to the VK. And if they drive backward, they're not getting out of that Arty Strike in time. So, Arty Strike is very, very important here. Alright, let's speed the video back up to 1 times speed. Now again, I'm going to highlight the play from these IS-7. Obviously, to go around to the A line takes a little bit longer. And also, they're going to be running into a lot more force. Let's take a look at their enemy deployment here. Most of their vehicles are concentrated at the end of this first road, not the second road. So, let's take a look at where the IS-7s go. IS-7s go to the second road. Now, super play these two IS-7s. What this allows them to do is push down that alpha line pretty much unopposed and sweep in from the top. If they come down low side, they run a chance of getting hit by all the vehicles along this side, as well as understanding that the super heavies behind them need to take a shorter route to the cap. We're able to reset from this road. We're not able to reset as well from the right road. But because we're slower, the IS-7s are going to be able to get there quicker. Great job by these two IS-7s. I'd call that the play of this battle. Oh, cap down to 18 seconds. We managed to buy some time. The E3s are gone. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm confident there. Oftentimes we would say no stop, but I'm confident these IS-7s and the VKK will be able to get in there. You can see Hughes drops the the Inspire perfectly. Their tanker is right in the middle of that, just focusing on those resets. I've counted down to 6. Hughes finishes off the 5A. Tank Killer finishes off the Chieftain, and now I'm going to work in here on this 277, really just making sure my shot hits. There we go, finishing off that vehicle. Now let's take a look at the situation on cap. I don't think we can actually quite see it. Those Chieftains are tangled up with all the E3s. And haven't killed any yet, and they've lost one Chieftain, but we'll see how that turns out. Oh, I'm not too worried. Right now we're calling out that Ricochet, so this is another position you have to watch out for. If there is an IS-7 there, that is the tank that is going to be hardest to take out. So you want to just get a shot in there, then we can turn our attention back to anything in this area. However, resetting is not the priority right now. Look how many tanks we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vehicles inside the cap circle. Do you think they're going to cap this out? I don't. There's no way. So instead of focusing on resets, we're going to focus fire instead and play this out like the cap isn't here. There's no point in shooting every vehicle once. We're going to kill through these vehicles way quicker than they could ever cap this out. We also have to take into account that Malto's just sitting right behind him farming. Let's go right back into it. He's going to finish off that VK7201. I'm reloading, looking for this IS-7. They're still calling out the 1482 back there. Grudge and Malto together is going to take out that vehicle. I'm putting one into the side of that E100, bringing him down to a 1 hit. Now, I'm going to do something else here. I'm in the best position to clear out this E3 and 277. We've got, yes, Malto is closer, however, he's facing the wrong way. And he's also focused on this E100. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and about to be 6 vehicles, all that can pen this E100. Instead of waiting to reload, I'm going to drive right past him. I'm going to focus on a different target in front of me. Now, that's not ignoring focus fire. It's understanding that the vehicles behind you are going to finish them off. Now, I'm going to pick the E3 here. I could easily shoot the 277. However, the E3 is in the wall there, and he has the potential to kill the E100 right now. Now, yes, we are up 10-3 and 10,000 hit points, but as I always say, you have to ignore the situation when you're making your play sometimes. Do it as you would. You should always play like the game is neck and neck. It's 0-0, and there's like 3 tanks left on each team. That way, it'll be ingrained into your head. You don't play stupid or, get complacent just because we're up. So I'm aware that E3 may kill that E100. So I am going to focus this E3 out as best I can. Taking a shot in there, 621. E3 is going to finish off at E100. But again, it's a thought that counts there. You can see Hughes there, driving right past the 277, waiting for that E3. Now I'm going to do something a little bit silly here, and I'm going to get on top of this 277. Maybe not the greatest play, but finish that vehicle off, still alive, 163 damage to him, and at this point, the game is over. The Chieftains have finished that off. I would not advise jumping on top of vehicles, right? I'm kind of contradicting what I just say there, and I shouldn't have done it. But at the time, we can call that one a mistake. The Chieftains actually managed to cap out. Don't ask me how that happened. I was amazed at the time. I thought the timer expired, actually, in the moment. So, leaving 2 E3s left in the enemy team, let's take a look at the post-game. Nice win screen here, obviously, as we tapped out the enemy team. Good spread. We won the game, so not too concerned. I've always said that this screen here matters more than this does. We managed to make 22,000 credits. despite firing 25,000 ammunition and 27,000 repairing the vehicle. Decent amount of XP there, helping the crew out. Short battle, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. We just drove straight to the hill, back down, reset it. Again, shout out to the two IS-7s there, Hughes, 1998, and Malto from Class X. Great job there. Play of the game. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.